Customer journey and value streams. Now the value streams are linked with the customer journey. If you look at this picture on the right, consumer A has this journey, customer journey 1. Consumer B has this customer journey 2. A consumer could be an organization, and this customer could be a single customer within that organization who specifies requirements and responsible for the outcomes. If you look at journey 1, it is connected to value stream 4, which is with the service provider B. If you look at customer journey 2, it is connected with 3 value streams. And these are connected to another value stream from service provider A. A customer journey relies on at least one value stream from all involved parties. A single value stream usually supports multiple journeys. The journey includes only those value stream activities which are in the band of visibility. The journey does not follow a fixed path always, but various touch points based on the situation. Journeys are important sources of customer experience and user experience and are also influenced by the digital environment and interactions with the service provider. Let's look at this point in particular. A single value stream usually supports multiple journeys. There may be a value stream for a new service release, maybe a new product or a service release into the market or for a specific customer. Within this service release, there may be 2 journeys. One could be collecting requirements for that service. So it's a requirements gathering customer journey. And for the same service release, there may be acceptance testing by the customer. Therefore, there is also an acceptance testing journey, customer journey. So for the same service release, there are 2 journeys, requirements gathering and acceptance testing journeys. But the value stream is just one for that service. We'll look more at this band of visibility in a short while. There are areas which are visible, areas of the provider which are visible to the customer, and some areas of the provider not visible to the customer, and vice versa. And as we have understood a bit so far, customer experience, user experience are related closely to the overall customer journey. Therefore, digital environment and interactions play a key role in the CX and US and therefore the overall journey. Customer experience and user experience, what do these mean? Customer experience, the sum of the functional and emotional interactions with a service and service provider as perceived by a customer. User experience, the sum of the functional and emotional interactions with a service and service provider as perceived by a user. So the only difference between the two is customer versus user. Also, if you look at literature on CX and US, it also indicates that customer experience has more of the feeling element, more of the emotional element, whereas user experience has more of the product element. How is the product? Like the user interface, the reliability, the functionality, and so on, whereas customer experience is about other things, not just the product, but also how is the sales and service, how is the attitude of the provider, and so on. The customer journey and the service interaction. We see the band of visibility here. Firstly, this is the overall journey. The customer journey. Explore. It begins with explore, then engage, offer, agree, onboard, co-create, realize. In the DSV course, we're going to learn about each step in detail. Right now, we are before the explore step. We are understanding what the journey is, and then we will dive into explore and engage and all of them. And once we finish realize, then this DSV is completed. Customer and service provider, they're working together all the time, but there is a band here. This is the upper line, this is the lower line. This is known as the band of visibility, the line of visibility. The provider can see only till here of the customer, not above that, not beyond that. Similarly, the customer can see only till here of the provider, not the backend, maybe the backend systems of the provider are not visible to the customer, and similarly for the provider to the customer. And the interaction is happening in the between. The flow is happening all the time. So this is the band of visibility. Which means the provider representative may not understand the consumer organization procedures. As an example, how does the customer market their services to their clients may not be visible to the provider. Or the provider may not know who from the customer side or consumer side are making key decisions before they communicate back to the provider. This may be hidden. Similarly, the consumer or customer may not know how the provider processes their request. They know that the provider is responding to their request, but what happens in the backend teams at the provider side may not be known to the customer. And again, this band of visibility may be there at different levels. Technical people from the customer and provider side may have a certain visibility of each other. Management of the customer and provider may have some visibility of each other. Top management of customer and provider may have some visibility of each other, but not completely. And what is the band of visibility really? These are the activities and resources like people, tools, technology, procedures, value streams, processes, and so on, information. So these are such activities and resources within the service relationship that are visible to both provider and customer. And whichever is not visible, they are outside the band of visibility. So, which means the service experience is formed in this band, which means the touch points, the interactions, the visible products and environment are happening in this band. But as you can expect, the invisible part influences the visible parts. The width of this band also depends on the nature of the service. In some services, the band may be too wide. In some services, like confidential services, the band may be very narrow. It also depends on the relationships. If it is partnership, the band will be wide. If it is an ad hoc or a basic simple relationship, then the band will be too narrow. It's just order taking and responding to the orders of the customer. So several things like this do matter. Let's move on to section 1.2, designing and improving customer journeys. Now that we have understood what touch points, service interactions, and journey means, we'll go into designing and improving them. Understanding the ways of designing and improving customer journeys. Bloom's level 2. Stages for designing end-to-end customer journey and experience. There are 5 stages to design the journey and the experience for the customer. Step 1 or stage, know the stakeholder aspirations, then define the personas, then define the scenarios, then map the journey, and finally create the service blueprint. Customer journeys can also be designed and improved using not just these 5 stages, but also using customer experience concept, design thinking, behavioral psychology, cultural aspects, and finally, measuring and improving journeys after they have been defined and mapped. So once again, a high-level view of the stages in designing the end-to-end customer journey and experience begins with capturing stakeholder aspirations, then defining personas of the stakeholders, then the scenarios within the journey, then the complete journey map, and then the service blueprint in order to deliver the journey.